President Barack Obama. Always good to see you, Joel. So
great to be with you, Chris.
Tell me, what is the specific national security threat concern that you see that made you sign on to this letter?
At the end of the day, what Donald Trump is doing is he is turning our country into an oligarchy. And we're not. We're a country of laws. We're a country that has national security grounded in that democracy that we hold and that we cherish. And by these revelations, what we're seeing is that the president is using his position for his personal benefit. Political in this instance, maybe there's financial in another instance, maybe there's a favor to a family member. We don't know where it stops. And this has to stop. We all take an oath to protect and preserve the Constitution, not to pay to play, so to speak. So this is why I'm concerned. This is why I sent on to the letter.
One of the things Nancy Pelosi has talked about, and I've heard a lot of Democrats that I've spoken to express concern, is they feel like if there's going to be an impeachment process going forward, it has to be very clear. It has to be very focused. In fact, she said that when she was on Morning Joe this morning. So let me ask you, as somebody with the background that you have, even beyond what you've just said, why Americans should care about this whistleblower complaint. Obama's Deputy National Security Advisor, Ben Rhodes, who was on MSNBC, said a system meant to safeguard national security secrets was used to protect a president's personal interests. Having said that, there's a legal, potentially an ethical threat, but does what the president did make American citizens any less safe?
It does, Chris, and I'll give you an example as to why. For these conversations, imagine what kind of horse trading is going on. We don't know what's in the vault. What did President Trump say to Vladimir Putin when Putin said, I need you to create division inside NATO. I need you to create division inside the European Union. What
Your implication is that a reporting on that conversation may be one of the other ones that's been put inside that high-level security server.
You bet. And we don't know where this ends. And the problem here is, what is the president willing to do for personal favors that he is seeking or that are offered to him? That's what countries do when they don't have the rule of law. That's what countries do when the leader of it thinks that it's their own personal country. They own it. They get to decide for themselves what it is that matters to the country, not what matters to the national interest in the whole community. North Korea is another example. There's been a lot of chatter. I support diplomacy with North Korea, but I have to tell you, I'm really suspicious about what it is that the North Korean leader has promised Donald Trump. And we've seen President Trump accede to multiple nuclear engagements, tests, missile tests in particular. I should be more specific, but tests that concern the intelligence community, and the president shrugs off. Why is he shrugging that off? We don't know. So this might just frankly be the tip of the iceberg.
We've only got a minute left, but since you were at State, I have to ask you what you make of Rudy Giuliani, who seems to be thinking that if he was directed to intervene with the Ukrainians by the State Department, that doesn't raise even more concerns.
Yeah, an off-the-books operator noodling in between the White House, the State Department,
with
foreign governments.
With no security clearance that we know of, correct?
No security clearance. He's receiving funds from groups like the MEK that support the violent overthrow of Iran that was on our terrorism list until only a few years ago. We have no idea what he's up to, and I'm sure he struck fear whenever he showed up or sent an email or a text to someone at State, struck fear into their hearts about what are we doing here? This is dangerous, and he reports to the president, and how do we manage this situation? It is dangerous to the entire institution, not just to foreign policy.
Joel Rubin.